Hello my dear students. In this video we are going to discuss about strings, how they are traversed, different operations, various functions and methods available to work with strings, string slicing and much more. I am Sandeep Saini. I am a PGD Computer Science in Kendriya Vidyalaya Bhadrawa, Jammu region. So without further ado, let's begin. First of all, let us see what a string is. String is a collection of characters which is enclosed with either double quotes or single quotes. In simple words, anything in Python which is enclosed with single or double quotes is a string. It may be anything. In this case, let's say hello in single quotes is a string. So, just like other literals present in Python programming language, it is one of the literals and it follows certain rules. Now, since we have a number of characters in a string, in order to access any particular character, we need some sort of mechanism which is provided in Python with the name of indexing. Generally speaking, in any sequence, indexing is a technique which can be used to access any particular character present in the string by associating an integer number with, with the elements of that sequence. In simple words, let's say you have a string Python. In that string, each character has been associated with an integer index, which can be used in order to access that particular character. Now, there are two types of indexing. One is forward indexing, and another one is backward indexing. That means there are two ways in which you can access any particular element by using its index. There are two types of index. One is forward index, another one is backward index. So, in this case, the string is Python. So the index value of first character is 0, second is 1, third character's index value is 2, fourth character's index value is 3, and so on. This is in the case of forward indexing. Now, when you are accessing the string elements using backward indexing technique, then the last element contains the index of -1, the second last contains index of -2, and so on. And now, in order to in order to calculate the length of a string, there is one function available which is called len. And when you pass the string variable to it, it is going to return the length of the string. Now, in this case, we are passing it a variable called myString or mystr. It contains the string Python, and since it contains 6 characters, this length function is going to return 6. That is, there are 6 characters in the string variable mystr. You can also pass some string into it like this, and again it is going to return number of characters present in this sequence or in this string. Hence the result is going to be 5. Now, another point to note is the string is a immutable data type. What we mean by that is, so whenever you have created one string, there is no way that you could change any character present in a string. By that I mean that once the string is created, no changes can be made in any element of that string. It means it is immutable. You cannot change once the string has been created. Now let us understand the concept of string by the help of ideally. So as I said in the last slide, in order to create a string, all you have to do is just put some inverted quotes, write the content of string. It may be anything. Let's say in this case it's hello world, and close it with the help of inverted quotes. Now there are certain rules that you have to keep in mind. First of them is when you are starting the string with a single quote, you must end it with a single quote only. You cannot put a double quote here. So the quote should be same. Now this is a string. You can also save this string in a variable, and that can be done using a variable. You can use any variable you want. Let's say in this case it is mystr. Then you put equal to sign and then the string. Since you have stored the string in the variable, now you can print the string or use it however you want. In this way you can create a string. There is another way as well. Let's say you, in case you enclosed it in double quotes, it is still going to work. As you can see, it is still printing hello. So that's all. Now next topic to discuss is traversing a string. Now what do you mean by traversing? Traversing refers to iterating at or accessing every element of a string one by one. So this can be done with the help of a for loop. As you can see here, we have used a for loop. Ch is the control variable. MyStr is a sequence or a string variable which contains Python. So when this loop is going to work, one character or the first character from the Python string is going to be stored in ch, and then you're going to print ch. Whatever is in the ch character, let's say in this case it is p, you're going to get p, and then since separator's default value is space, you will get a space here, and then the next value is going to get printed, which is a tilde symbol. This is a tilde, tilde. This is called a tilde symbol. Now after space, this tilde is going to be printed. Now this print statement is done executing. Now for loop is going to be executed again. Now the next character from the mystr, that is y, is going to be stored in ch variable, and again this print function is going to work, and you're going to get y, then again space, and then you're going to get tilde symbol. For loop is going to work again. Now in next iteration, the t character, the character t is going to be stored in ch variable, and it is going to be printed here. So t is going to be printed, and again a space and a tilde symbol. Loop is going to iterate again, and next we are going to get h. Similarly o and space n. So this is going to be the final output of this loop. Now let us execute this on the ideally, just to be sure. As you can see, we get p space tilde y space tilde t space h, and so on. Now let us discuss some of the operators which are available with strings, and you can use these operators to work with strings. Now first of all, there is concatenation operator, which is denoted by plus. Now what this operator does is, whenever you are using plus with two strings, it is going to join them and make a one complete string. In this example, you can see there's one string which contains pyt, another string contains hon, and when you are adding them or when you are concatenating them, you are getting one complete string which is obtained by joining these two strings. You get Python. Now second example is, when you are concatenating a string with a number, what you're going to get is, you're going to get an error. Now why is that? Because there's some rule which states that you can never add a string with an integer. You can only add a string with a string, or you may add a number with a number. Intermixing of these two data types is not allowed. Next operator is replication operator. As the name suggests, it replicates a string. So when you're using a string in single quotes, let's say it contains OK, star is the replication operator. And next, there is an integer which specifies how many times this string is going to be replicated or duplicated. So the result of this is going to be 3 times OK, and it is going to be in a single string. Also, you can also use this integer first and the string afterwards. It is also allowed. It is again going to give you the same result. You're going to get same string. Now, but when you are using the string and the replication operator is being used with another string, it is going to result in an error, because there is another rule that states that replication operator can only be used with an integer and a string. That is, one of the operands must be an integer and one of the operands must be a string. The order does not matter. String may come afterwards or first, but one of them has to be an integer. You cannot use replication operator with two strings. Now let us focus on the practical examples of concatenation and replication operators. First of all, we are going to focus on concatenation operator, which is denoted by plus. Now what this operator does is, it takes two strings and combines them into one long string. Let's say one of the string is hello, and you are concatenating it with world. What you're going to get is, you're going to get a long string which contains both of these strings. In other words, these two strings are going to be concatenated or joined, and you're going to get hello world as a single string. And as I explained earlier, that a string can only be concatenated with a string and you cannot use a number with it. So in case if you were to concatenate hello with the integer 8, you're going to get an error, and it is going to state that you can only concatenate string to string and not integer. Let's take another example of concatenation. Let's say I plus love plus programming. Now what this statement is going to do is, there are two strings, I love programming, and they are joined with concatenation operator. So when I'm going to press enter, these three strings are going to be concatenated or joined into one large string, and you're going to get result of I love programming in a single string. I hope that is clear to you. Now let's move on to replication operator, and it is denoted by star. What this operator does is, it replicates the string. Let's say we have a string, okay, and we are replicating it 6 times, then you're going to get OK 6 times. You may also use integer first and the string afterwards. Let's say it has yes. Now you are going to get yes 6 times. But you cannot use a string and replicate it with another string. I mean, you cannot use string both ways. In that case, you're going to get error, which will state that you cannot multiply sequence by non-int of type string. It only means that in order to replicate, all you need is one integer and one string, not the other way around. Now next operators that we need to discuss are the membership operators. There are two types of membership operators present in Python programming language. One is in operator and another one is not in operator. So what these two operators does is, they check for certain sequence and they return true or false. Now what do they check is, they check if the certain sequence is the member of another sequence. If a certain sequence is a member of another sequence, then it is going to return true, otherwise it is going to return false. For example, so let's say we have a sequence, a string hello, and if we are going to check if E is a member of hello, then we are going to write E in hello. Now this statement is going to be true because E is a part of this string hello. Let's say we are going to check if he is a part of hello. Now again, this is going to result in true because you can see he is present in hello. Similarly, the not in operator, what the not in operator checks is if the certain sequence is not a part of another sequence. For example, if you were to check okay, not in hello, and as it is evident that OK is not present in this string, it is going to return true. Similarly, if you were to check, let's say E not in hello, but since you can see E is the part of the string hello, then it is going to return false. Now, let's say the string variable mystr contains Python, and if you were to check if ABC is a part of mystr, you're going to write ABC in mystr, and since you can see there is no ABC in the string, it is going to return false. Now we are again checking ABC, but we are checking if it is not a member of the given sequence, and since it is clear that ABC is not present in the string, we get true because this statement is true. Now third statement is on in mystr. Now you need to check what the content of mystr is, and it is clear that it contains on in the end. Now let us understand the membership operators with the help of ideally. So let's say we have a sequence OK, and we are checking if it is a member of another string hello. It is going to return, yes, you guessed it right, false, because OK is not a part of the string. Let's take another example. He in hello, and since he is a part of this string, then we are going to get true. Similarly, not in operator is the exact reverse or the opposite of this in operator, and it checks if the certain sequence is not a part of another sequence. Another sequence is written on the right hand side of the in operator, and the sequence that you are checking is going to be on the left hand side. Let's say we check OK, not in hello. Since OK is not in hello, this statement is true and we'll get true. You can also take variables and use them with the in or not in operators. Let's say I'm taking a sequence, OK, and I'm taking a string, this is OK, and you can use these variables with in operator and get the results. So I'm writing seq sequence in string. What it going to does is it is going to check if this OK is a part of this string, and it is going to return true because OK is present in the string. And if I were to check sequence not in string, it is going to return false. So next operator that we are going to discuss are the comparison operators. It is also called
relational operators, and all the relational operators that you used on the arithmetic operands can also be used on string operands. But here is a little difference. They are compared on the basis of lexicographical ordering, and it can also be compared on the basis of ASCII values. Now I'm assuming that you are aware of what an ASCII values are and the ASCII values of certain characters, at least from A to Z and capital A to capital Z. Now when you are comparing two string operands, there are certain rules that you need to keep in mind. If you're comparing one character with another character, what you can do is you can just translate them into their ASCII values and compare if the statement is true or not. So the ASCII value of small a is 97 and ASCII value of capital A is 65, and since 97 is indeed greater than 65, you get true. When there are a number of characters, when there are more than one characters in the string, what you need to do is you take first character from both sides and compare them. So we are comparing if they are greater than each other. Since they are equal, we are going to move on to the next character. Next character on the both sides are B. Since they are again equal, we cannot tell if they are greater or smaller than each other. Then we are going to move on to third character. Since on the left hand side there is no third character and on the right hand side there is one character present, this is going to return false because there is nothing present on the left hand side's operand, and on the right hand side operand there is C, and we can think it of as nothing cannot be greater than something. There is nothing present on the left hand side but some character present on the right hand side, so it is going to return false because nothing cannot be greater than something. It is obvious. Let's focus on the third example. Now the first character on both hand sides are different. On the left hand side it is capital A, on the right hand side it is small a. We're going to translate them in their respective ASCII values, and the ASCII value of capital A is 65, ASCII value of small a is 97, and when you're going to compare them, you you can notice that this statement is false, so you're going to get false. In case you are not aware of ASCII value of certain character, you can use OR function, ORD function. But how would you use it? You're going to pass a character to ORD function and it is going to return ASCII value of the past character. Another function that we need to understand is the CHR function. It is the exact opposite of the ORD function. What it does is it returns you the character of the corresponding past ASCII value. That means in the first function you are going to pass a character, let's say it is small a, and it is going to return its ASCII value. It is going to give you 97. In the CHR function, what you do, you give it an ASCII value, let's say you're giving it 97, and it is going to return its respective ASCII value, that is small a.
Next, we are going to discuss some of the string methods. But before going into detail, let us first understand what is the difference between function and method in the Python programming. The main difference lies in the implementation and how you would use both of them. When you're going to use a function, what you need to do is you just write the function name, let's say length, and then you pass the variable that is going to be used in the function. Let's say we have one variable named mystr and it has some value, let it be hello. So when you're using length function on this mystr variable, and when you're using a function, what you need to do is you need to write the variable name inside of these round brackets when you're using a function. But in case of methods, how would you use a method is first you need to write the variable.
Then you need to write the dot notation, and afterwards you need to write the name of the method. Let's say in this case capitalize and then empty brackets. So when this statement is executed, what would happen is the capitalize method is going to take the value stored in this variable and do some operation on it and make the changes in this string itself. So now we are going to discuss few of the methods and functions available with strings with the help of IDLE. Now let us understand all these functions and methods with the help of practical examples. So first most method that we are going to discuss, or I should say a function, is a len function. Let's define a string first. Let it be hello world, and in order to use this len function you need to write the name of the function first, and in the bracket you need to pass the variable which is mystr. And what this function is going to do, it is going to count all the characters present in the string and return the number of characters as an integer. So it is returning 11, and it is returning 11 because there are 11 characters present in the string including this empty space. So you get 11. Next method that we need to discuss is capitalize. So since it is a method, you need to write the variable or object name first, which is mystr. Then you need to put the dot and then the function or method name, which is capitalize. Please note that when you're using a method, you need to put the variable name first and then put a dot, and after that you need to write the method name. But when you're using a function, you need to just directly write the name of the function, and the string or the object that you need to pass to that function is written between these round brackets. So you need to just write the empty brackets, and the capitalize method is going to change the first character of the complete string into uppercase. So since you have hello world and all letters are small, it is going to be converted into a capitalized string, which is nothing but string with its first letter into uppercase. So as you can see, the H has been capitalized. Next method is title. So my str.title, and it is almost similar to the capitalize method. The only difference is that since the capitalize only changed the first character of complete string into uppercase, the title method is going to change first letter of every word present in the string into uppercase. So since there are two words, hello and world, the first character of all both of these words are going to be changed into uppercase. So as you can see here, the H of hello and W of world have been translated into uppercase. Moving on to next method, which is upper. Now this method is going to simply convert all the characters present in the string into uppercase. Since our string is hello world and all the characters are lowercase, this method is just going to change all the characters into uppercase. And you can see you get a string hello world and all the characters are uppercased. Similarly, there is another method lower, and what it does is it is going to change all the characters present in the string into lowercase. And as we can see that all characters are already lowercase, this method is not going to change the string much. Let us understand this with the help of another string or another example. Let us say we have another string mystr2, and it contains a string, let's say hello. Now the mystr2 dot lower method, it is going to change the complete string into lowercase, and you get all the characters in lowercase. Next method is count method, and
This is going to count the number of occurrences of any substring that you pass to it. Let us say I'm passing O to it. So what this method is going to do, it is going to look for this O in the mystr variable, and it is going to give you an integer value of how many times this small o has occurred in that string. As you can see in hello and world, you can see one o in the hello and one o in world. So it is going to give you 2 because there are two o's in hello world. Similarly, you can use this method on any string you want. Next method is find. Now, find method, as the name suggests, it is going to find for some string that you pass to it, and it is going to give you the index value of the result. Let us say I need to find the character R, or let's say I need to find the position of the word world. So I would write world. Now it is going to look into the string, and if there is if it finds the word world, it is going to give the index of first letter of that word. Otherwise, it is going to give you -1. So let us see what happens when you are passing it the value world. It is going to give you the character 6, alphabet, I mean integer 6. Why? Because the index value of W is 6, and as you can count from here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and W stands at 6. Let us pass it a string which does not exist or which is not a part of the mystr and see what happens. And as I said, it is going to give you -1. Let us pass OK to it, and since you can see there is no OK present in this string, it is going to give you -1. So -1 means that the string that you are looking for is not present or was not found while searching in the mystr variable. Next method that we are going to discuss is index method. Next method that we are going to discuss is index method. Now this method is almost similar to the find method that we just discussed. Why I said almost? Because it also returns you the index of the substring that you're passing to it, but the find method was returning -1 to you when the string was not found. But this index method is going to give you an exception, or an we can say an error. So let us use this method mystr.index. So let's say we are finding the index of word. Now it is giving you the index 6, just like we got in the method find. Now let us pass OK to it. The find method was returning -1, but it is going to give you an exception that substring not found. One more thing that I would like to discuss is when using find or index method, you can also specify the range into which you would like your program to look. That is, let's say mystr.index, and you are looking for some string, let's say el, or let's say just l. Now you know that it is going to give you the first occurrence of this l, which is present at index value 2. But you can also specify the range into which you want your method to look, and you can do this by just giving additional parameters to it. You can first specify the start value, let's say 5. It is the starting index from which your method is going to start looking for the substring L. Now let's say you want to finish at 7. So what this is going to do is it is going to start at index value 5, 0, 1, 2, 3. It is going to start from this space, and it is going to look until index 7. So this is index 7, and as you can see in this small range there is no small l, so string was not found, so it is going to return an exception. As you can see here, exception was returned. Similarly, you can also specify range in find method. Now, next method that we are going to discuss is lnum. So mystr dot is lnum. Now, this method is going to return true or false based on if the string contains an alphanumeric character or not. Now, which string are we talking about? The string variable mystr, which contains hello world. And since we can see it contains hello world, it is going to give you false because there was no number found. Lnum stands for alphabet and number. So when there are both of these characters present in the string, it is going to give you true. So let us understand this with the help of another example. Let us create another string, mystr2. It contains hello 123. Now, when you're going to look for the presence of alphabet and number in this new string, as you can see, it is returning true because this string contains both alphabets and numbers. That is why the result is true. Next method is num. Now, as the name suggests, now the next method is lower. Now, as the name suggests, it is going to check if the string that you are looking into is all lowercase or not. That is, if all the characters of that string are small letters or not. And all the methods that start with is are those methods that are going to return either true or false. It is going to give you a boolean value, nothing else. So, is lower is going to check if the string that you are passing to it contains all the characters in lowercase form or not. Otherwise, it is going to give you false. So, mystr dot is lower. And as you can see, this string is all lowercase. All the characters are small letters, lowercase letters. So this is going to return true. Next is upper, which is exact opposite of that is lower method. The difference being it is going to check if all the letters present in the string are uppercased or not. So let's write the same command is upper, and as you can see all the characters are lowercase, so this is going to return false. Next method is space. So as the name suggests, this method is going to check if the string that we are testing contains nothing but space. Now space might be anything. It may be a next line character. It may be an empty space, uh, escape sequence backslash t, which means collection of four spaces, or anything. But it should be all spaces, otherwise it is going to return false. If it is all spaces, we are going to get true. So as we have created one string already, which is mystr. Now when you're going to check mystr dot is space, since we know that string contains hello world, it is not all spaces. It is not made up of only spaces. So this expression is going to result into false. Let us take another example. Let us create another variable mystr2, and it contains suppose backslash t and empty space. So as we know, backslash t is what? It is a tab escape sequence, which means four spaces. This is again the same thing. So when we are going to check if mystr2 dot is space really is space, then it is going to return true because this string is nothing but empty spaces, as you can check by printing it as well. Mystr2 is nothing but backslash t backslash t. Let us print it. So you can see it printed nothing but empty space. That is why it is returning true. Now next method is alpha. Now alpha stands for alphabets. So this method is going to return true if the string that we are testing contains all alphabets and nothing else. Even if it contains any special symbol or if it contains any number, then this method is going to return false. So let us check it. Now we have one string mystr, and if we are going to check it against is alpha, then it is going to return false because this string contains one special or an empty space, not a special symbol, an empty space which is not an alphabet. So this string is not alphabetic and it is going to return false. Let us create another string, let it be my string 3, and let it contain just hello. Now as we can see, it contains 5 characters only, or 5 alphabets, and apart from these 5 alphabets there is nothing else. So when we are going to check it against the is alpha method, it is going to return true because this string is made up of nothing but alphabets. Similarly, we have another method is digit, and this method is going to return true if the string contains nothing but digits, else it is going to return false. We may check it as well. Let us say we have another string mystr4 and it contains, let's say, some number. Now when you're going to check it by applying is digit method, it is going to return true because this string contains nothing but digits. Now let us understand our next method, which is split method. So in order to understand this, let us assume that we have one variable mystr which contains a string. This is a sentence. It has 4 words which are separated by empty space. Now this split method is going to uh, break this string into parts, and individual words are going to be returned as an element of a list. But by default, it is going to be broken about this empty space. And if you want, you can also do it about any other character. So let us first understand how we can do it by splitting it about the empty space. So first we write mystr dot split. If you are providing nothing to it, then it is going to break this string about this empty space, and a list is going to be returned to you with every word as a element of that list. As you can see here, the string has been splitted about these spaces. That is why this space does not appear anywhere in this list, because this was used to break this string apart. Now let us say we are going to split this string about the character s. Then in order to do that, you would have to just write mystr dot split, and in the bracket you're going to provide a character s. Now when you do that, you will notice that this string is has been splitted about this character s. So wherever the character s was present, the string was splitted about this point only. Now you can see, since there is a one word this, so first element contains thi and the next element contains this empty space and I. You can see empty space and I. Now again this s was used to split the string. Next element should contain empty space a, empty space. As you can see, empty space a and empty space, and again this s is used to split the string, so the content present after it is going to be present as an element. As you can see here, rest of the string is again present as an element. So this is how you split the string. Now let us understand the partition method, which is again used to break the string into pieces, and let us see how is it different from the split method we just discussed. So first of all, we have defined a string which contains this is a string, and first let us understand how the partition method works. So you need to just write mystr.partition, and in the brackets you must provide a separator which may be anything present in the string. So let us say I am about to split this string, I am about to partition this string about the point A. Then I'm going to just write A as a separator here. Now, as you can see here, the string has been broken down into three parts and you get one tuple. This is the basic difference. When you're partitioning a string, you get result as a tuple. And the string is only broken down into three parts. First part contains the part of string which comes before the separator. Second part contains the separator. And the third part contains the string after the separator. So whatever you provide here is also going to be present in the partition string. Let us understand this with the help of another example. Let's say this is a string. Now I'm going to partition this string about the point I. As you can see, there are number of i's present. So what this partition method is going to do, it is going to just take the first I and partition the string, taking the content before I, the I, and the string that is present after this I. So let us execute the command. I am providing I to it. As you can see, it was partitioned about this I. The content before I is present as the first element of tuple. Second element is this partition itself, the separator itself, and the third part contains the string that was present after the separator. Now let us again partition these strings with the help of split method, and you would notice the difference. First of all, you don't need to pass any separator to it. If you're not passing no separator, then it is going to take space by default. But since we have passed A to the partition method, so I'm again going to write A here and see how the output differs. First of all, the output has been returned in the form of a list, and the character which was used as the separator does not appear in the list. And again, if there are a number of characters present in the string, then you would see that the string has been broken down into multiple parts, not just three. So let us understand it with the help of another example, mystr2 dot split, and now I'm going to split it about point I. As you can see, it contains number of elements. First is th, then I has been omitted because it was used as a separator. Then you see s, empty space, and the again it is working as in the same way as the split method works, and you can notice the difference between the outputs. This is the output of the split method, and this is the output of the partition method. So this is how partition method works. Now let us assume that you have a string, let us say mystr, and it contains spaces at both of the ends. Let's say it contains 3 or 4 spaces, and we have this is a string as its content, and again it has 4 or 5 spaces after the full stop. Now when you're going to print it, you would see that spaces are also being printed. So strip method is used to remove these spaces at either ends of the string. Let us use it first and then understand what this method is doing. So we write mystr.strip. So as you can see, the spaces after the last character and spaces before the first character have been removed. There is another method which is lstrip. The L in front of this strip stands for left. So what this method is going to do, it is going to remove
all the spaces at the left end of the string. So let us apply this method on the same string. So mystr.lstrip. Now, as I said, this method is going to remove spaces on the left hand side. It is not going to touch spaces on the right hand side. So you see, the spaces on the left hand sides have been removed, but on the right hand sides, it still exists. Similarly, there's another function rstrip, method, and this is going to remove the spaces from the right end of the string. You can again use it on the same string, mystr.rstrip, and as you can see, the spaces after this full stop have been removed, but spaces on the left hand sides still exist. I hope that is clear. This is how strip method works.
The last method that we are going to discuss is the replace method. So this method is going to take a part of the string and replace it with the string that we are passing to it. Let us understand it with the help of an example. Let us say we have mystr and we are going to replace, you need to give some string here. Let us say we are going to replace L, then you put a comma and give the new string that you are going to replace L with. Let us say I'm going to replace this with a capital L. It may be anything, but let us say it is replacing small l with capital L, and when you execute this command, you will see that the small l have been replaced by capital L. Let us understand this with another example. Let's say if I'm going to replace HE with EH. Let us say now what this statement is going to do, this is going to replace this HE with EH. Now I hope this is clear to you, and this is how we work with replace method. So this marks the end of this presentation. If you have any doubts, you may comment down the video. Thank you.